Here we are on Zoom, unprecedented times in our community and in the nation. Um, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge tonight, but I really want to thank our IT guys and folks for helping us out, getting this set up. And I got to say, and they mentioned it the other day, that our iPads rolling out to the counselors really was good timing. This really helped. And I know the cameras on them are good, and it's really helpful. So thank you, IT guys. Really appreciate all your efforts and double backups that we're doing to this to try and make sure everything works and get it out to the community, and also the extra work that you did trying to get community input so that we could have people talk during the meeting, which is really an important part of our meetings. So first thing is we're going to do the flag salute, and I know it's a little strange, but I thought that it would be good to do a flag salute. So I'm going to ask if you want to stand, you can, but I'm going to lead the flag salute now. I knew Jason would appreciate that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, that didn't go too bad. Okay, first up, we'll have roll call, and I'll have the city clerk call roll, please.
Councillor Bolin.
Here.
Councillor Furlow. Councillor Grizzle.
Here.
Councillor Reescamp.
Here.
Councillor Stouter.
Here.
Councillor Steinhagel.
Here.
Oh, was that everybody? Okay. All right, we're done. Up first is a consent calendar. We've got tonight's agenda from April 8th, 2020, renewal of the agreement with Lebanon School District for outdoor maintenance, and the council minutes from March 11th, 2020 regular session, and the March 25th, 2020 regular and work session.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, the consent calendar has passed. Our first official act of business here online. Okay, with that, at this point, we'll accept public comments. Public comments will be limited to 5 minutes. We're trying to get everybody that has called in on. So we had nobody contact us ahead of time, which we'd asked to try and make it a little bit easier. But we do have Cassie Cruz here from the Lebanon Downtown Association. So Brand, if you could open that up, and we'll let Cassie start off.
Hey everybody, how are you guys today? I'm saddened that I only get to see your bright and shiny faces and that you can't see the ecstatic energy that they hold at these meetings come to light. But just know that I'm smiling, we're happy, we're healthy, and we're hopeful you are. So I just kind of want to go over what we've been talking about in the downtown district lately with the continuous change that we have seen here in downtown with, of course, our restaurants doing takeout, doing growlers to go, and then our merchants trying to diversify their own selves by going online and creating online stores. So that's kind of how we've diversified ourselves. What I've talked to our communities about is that we have a unique opportunity to position ourselves well for programming, because we are now at a programming time in our lives. We are not going to the pubs, we're not going to the stores to see the people we know, we are now watching each other. And with that said, one thing we've talked about is having and holding a virtual First Fridays. I sat in on a Main Street conference call for the state of Oregon, and currently out of all of Oregon, only one community, which was Albany, has held a virtual First Friday, and they were pretty successful at that. And what I contribute that to is the relationships that we hold here in rural communities. We have relationships that have spanned for years, that, or if they are short, they're deep. They're the relationships we follow people, we watch them, we reach out during these times when we're not as mobile. So one thing we talked about was having merchants to set up a separate page for Virtual First Friday, where merchants can do tutorials, take people behind the scenes, behind Growler Cafe, behind conversions in the restaurant there, and kind of start letting those secrets out, kind of letting people know what they can do at home, because everyone's getting tired of their own cooking. So we have people who follow our merchants. You know, we have Ira from Let It Be. She could hold a bend and bead, you know, something that we could prepare for and prepare people. They could get their supplies as needed and done safely, but to still be in the comforts of their own home and being led and guided. So we're just kind of looking in how we can support them as they are, as I said, changing their focus. We're changing ours as well. And I won't take too much of your time, but another thing we're working on with as far as programming goes, with having a captive audience, is we're looking at doing what's called a space walk. This is something Alicia Rogers with our Economic Vitality Committee had discussed with us, but now that we have Zoom and kind of how you're Brady bunching it today, we've looked at doing the same thing. We just had donate Zoom to LDA. So now we can hold the same type of thing where it's set up here for council, where just the participants, like the builders, the lenders, the people that can answer those questions in a non kind of buying way, can do that for participants who are interested in wanting to know what's going on downtown and what spaces we currently have available. So I think that's over 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't have a light anymore telling me what I'm doing. So I will be respectful of your time.
Thank you, Cassie. I just want to mention one thing. I had gotten a message on Facebook talking about the Lebanon Downtown Association, talking about speakeasy kinds of situations. And I like what you're talking about. That sounds great. But I just want to be clear that your message is clear of what you guys are doing, and that you're not doing something like that, because this person was genuinely concerned and actually had some things to say, that there were people that were being invited to these events and things that were kind of off the grid. So
I felt the Downtown Association didn't post that. I can tell you honestly, from my own personal page, I posted a thing to that, but that was a Cassie Cruz post, not an LDA post whatsoever. And it was to friends as joking. So I think that person, they may have they might be on my friends list. So they might have seen it done by myself, not through the Downtown Association. I try to make that clear.
Okay, just want to be clear, because when you are a person who is working with an organization or you're elected official, even on your personal page, people watch.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Just want to keep that. But thank you for your work. I know it's tough times, and I'm so thankful for the restaurants that are doing the takeouts downtown and all over town. It's been fantastic, and how they're adapting and creating, you know, to go packaged meals that you can heat up yourself. Really cool stuff, and I really do appreciate it. And it's tough. I mean, it's really hard for them, and I'm just glad to see that they're at least still in business.
Yeah, they're struggling, but they're trying to make it through.
Great. Thanks, Cassie. Any other questions from council? Okay. Seeing none. Do we have anybody else, Brent, at all that's popped in?
Is Bill Sullivan here?
Bill Sullivan.
I believe Brent's actually on the phone with Councilor Furlow, helping him get in right now, but we do not have any other attendees that have joined.
Okay. Well, I just thought I heard, did I hear Bill Sullivan, or was that Jason saying
No,
that?
I was asking if he was here.
Okay. God, I thought he was actually on. That was going to amaze me.
I thought he was
actually.
on too.
Yeah. Kind of miss him.
I could do an impersonation if you want, but
I think we're good.
Probably not
Okay.
necessary.
So with that, we're going to move into the regular session. And first up is the first item, IGA with the Lebanon School District for the construction excise tax collection. And Kelly Hart's going to present that, our community development director.
Thank you, Mayor and councilors. Good evening. This is definitely interesting, so we'll see how it goes. So on the agenda tonight is consideration of an intergovernmental agreement associated with the school district's desire to start implementing the construction excise tax. For a little bit of background, it's through Senate Bill 1036 that was adopted, I think it was in 2007-ish, that authorized school districts in the state to begin levying a construction excise tax based off of square footage of construction in their communities that they serve. The purpose of this tax is to provide funding for capital projects only, so it's set in its own pot, and that's all that it can be used for. Now, the Senate bill specifically says that school districts already have the authority to administer this tax. There's a procedure that they have to go through, and that procedure is before they set the tax and before they start administering it, because they don't have an interaction with the public in terms of building permit process, they have to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with a local agency to be able to administer it. And for Lebanon, there's two local agencies. It's either us or it is the county, Lynn County, that would do it. It makes the most sense for us as the city to be the administrator of the tax program, because we're the ones that actually issue the building permits for all the buildings within the Lebanon School District area. And so this item before the council today is not the city council approving the tax, not the city council saying we agree with the tax. There's no determination on that factor. The only thing in front of us is the school district has made the decision that they want to participate in the tax program, and we are agreeing to be the administrator of it because we issue the building permits. So within the agreement, it would begin, if it's authorized and approved, on July 1st of this year. Per state law, we can request up to a 4% administrative fee for the collection process of the construction excise tax. And that is what we have identified within the agreement, is the 4% fee. There's a large number of other agreements in the area that have been authorized over the years. And what we hear from most of the people that we've contacted is when they put the percentage down low at 1 or 2%, they're not recouping their costs. And so we want to make sure that we are recouping the costs associated with our work, because we're doing the work for them. So that's the purpose of requesting the 4%. As part of that, we have to communicate with the public associated with the fee, answer any questions. We have to take in the fee, do all the reporting associated with it and the cataloging, and maintain the financial records for it, and then send it off to the school district. So there's quite a bit of work associated with it. On the flip side, the school district is going to be providing all of the forms. It clearly shows that it's their fee. It'll have their logo on it, and it'll be very clear that if there's anything that they would like to discuss, that they should be contacting the school district. So a little long-winded, sorry about that, but the purpose is just to say this is just the agreement for us to administer the program. It has nothing to do with the city approving the fee itself or the tax itself. So with that, the recommended actions are to approve the intergovernmental agreement, and I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, if you have any questions, go ahead and unmute yourself, and then that way I'll see that, and then we'll go through the group of people. We have Karen, who is unmuted, so go ahead and speak if you have something to say.
So I just wanted to make sure, and though you did a really good job in detailing how all this works out, I just wanted to make sure I have my own opinion about this. And I understand that it's just something that they are allowed to do. I just wanted our community to know that this is not an extra tax that we are doing, that's solely on the school district, and our only involvement, which does make sense, is that we are kind of that go-between, since we collect the permits anyway, and then to be able to peel off the money that goes to them. And I just really wanted to make it clear that it is not something that we are doing. That is strictly that the school district is saying, this law is here, we're doing it, regardless of whether, you know, my own opinion is if you want a capital improvement, you go out for a levy for that. But anyway, that's a whole different story. It doesn't matter what my opinion is, but I just wanted the public to understand that it is definitely not something that we, the city, are deciding to charge an extra tax on new construction in our community.
Very good, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, did you have anything, Wayne?
No.
Okay, is Robert on the line? Did you ever get joined in? Okay, just checking. Okay, with that, no other questions. I'll go ahead and take a motion.
Well, I would move we approve the IGA as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the IGA with the Lebanon School District as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, the motion passes. The IGA is approved. And next up, number 2 is approval to sign the quote for the new Vector truck. Ron Whitlatch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you can see, what we put in the council packet, we're looking at a new Vector truck next year. We're going through the budget process right now. Our existing Vector truck is 2007 model, which these things last anywhere from 8 to 10 years. They have high use. And Jason's online, but he can attest. We probably use the Vector truck almost every day, cleaning sewers, unplugging sewers, small excavations, large excavations. It's probably our primary piece of equipment. It's an expensive piece of equipment too. So one of the things that we need to do now in order to be prepared, as our Vector is actually in the shop right now, it's spending an enormous amount of time in the shop getting repaired. We want to sign a quote for this so that we can get this by summer or fall of 2020. And in doing so, that kind of commits us to the budgeting process for next year. I will tell you that we've carried this money over in both our water and our wastewater utilities. It's been budgeted for actually this year, but the money's in there, and we'll just carry that forward into next year's budget. But in order to move forward with the quote, city manager has the authority to sign up to $100,000. And so we need council approval to move forward with signing the quote and the commitment to the budget process next year. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions?
Ron, this is Wayne. Are there a lot of vendors that are available for that piece of equipment?
We're actually going through the state with this one. It's called Sourcewell, which is basically we don't have to go out for the RFP and try and design this thing. The state's already done this process, and we can piggyback on it. And they actually, in the quote itself, you can see where they've given the reduction based on us being a member of Sourcewell. So no, but there are a few that do it. The one we're looking at is Owen, and they're probably one of the top of the line, and that's why they've been involved with Sourcewell.
Thank you, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the signing of the quote for the new Vector truck. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, Ron. And actually, next up is you again. City manager report.
Perfect. I won't go through the report in detail. I do have a few things that I do want to cover with you. Budget meeting has been scheduled for May 20th. We moved that back a little bit. We're trying to, Matt and I are looking through some of our revenues, with things that have stopped and trying to make a little bit better projections. So with allowing us a little bit more time, gives us a little bit more of a glance into the crystal ball of what revenues may look like or may not look like next year. So we've moved that out to May 20th. We're still working through what that process looks like if we're on this, basically the social distancing and stay at home and the public hearing piece. I will tell you that we're going to hold our first planning commission meeting on the 29th of April, which is, so I think if I get this right, we actually open up the hearing and we let the applicant testify. We give the staff report. We do have to open the travel station for people to listen, not necessarily comment. And we're going to limit that to 10 people. So we'll have to monitor that and make sure that that's available. With that, we close the public hearing, and then we will accept written or phoned in testimony to read into the record, which we would go to, I believe it's the May 6th or 7th. And we would hold the second hearing where all of the testimony would be read in, and then the applicant would have a chance to rebut any of the testimony, and the planning commission could make a decision that way. So I'm guessing that the budget hearing may be very similar. So stay tuned for that. We're still, the state has not made any moves on public meeting law, failed to do anything with it. So we're getting through it as best as we can. I guess the other piece, we're continuing to build the budget. Like I said, we're looking at potential long range and immediate impacts of what the economy is doing right now. One thing I'll note is we've been calling around to several of the motels. For instance, I believe Boulder Falls was at like 1,100, and I don't know the time frame. Rentals for a certain specific time frame, they're down below 100 now. So if you start thinking about the revenue forecast for that is going to be substantially less. So we're trying to figure out how long does this look like it's going to stay this way, and when might it come back, and how to project that.
Hey, Ron,
Go ahead.
excuse me. Just curious, have you guys talked with the assessor or gotten any ideas on any kind of projection? I know it's just a shot in the dark right now, but I'm just curious if we have any idea on projections for next year.
I would assume that our property tax revenue would be, I think we're going to budget it pretty conservatively, but to answer your question, no, we haven't, or at least I don't know if Matt has. I would think that would stay pretty solid, short of people not paying their property taxes. We're looking at the same thing in utilities. We'll have a little bit of a gauge this month and see what utility revenues look like. It's just going to take some time to figure that out, and likely, I think from Matt and my perspective, we're going to bring a very conservative budget that does not have a lot of projects to it. Any money we think that we might have extra is probably going to be put into reserve and just hold in reserve. I will tell you that we're positioned well based on what we have in our contingencies. The council and the budget committee has done well over the years. We have a very strong contingency in the general fund, and we've got good contingency in both of our utility funds. So it's not dire straits by any means, but trying to balance what the future looks like and what our immediate needs are. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Thanks.
It'll be a
Go ahead.
little different budget picture than the last time we handed a dire budget off to a brand new city manager.
Yeah.
It'll be a little better.
Okay, that sounds good. Lastly, we still got quite a few staff telecommuting. It seems to be going pretty well. I think the people that are probably suffering the most from the telecommuting are those that are here, myself, Matt, and Kelly. We're trying to keep up with all the staff needs, and it's different. You have to, rather than walking down the hall and having a 2-minute conversation, now you have to pick up the phone, or you've got the email, or we're doing group meetings. But all in all, we're still able to get permits out. We're reviewing drawings, moving things forward, and we got a lot of people lined up for planning cases coming up for construction. So it seems to be going pretty well so far, and plenty of work to go around. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Any questions?
Just a comment, hopefully by our budget hearing meetings, we'll be through this and the governor will let us congregate again.
Yeah,
I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, I based on the lack of, school's canceled, so I can't picture any scenario where we're all going to get back together anytime soon. So maybe in modified groups. I don't know. I think that's $1 million question that everybody wants to know, but we're not getting much help out of it. So you're left to kind of conclude on your own.
I'm just ready.
All
Yeah.
right. Anything else?
That's all I
Next-
have.
Okay, next up, we have comments from council. I just want to start off, and I thought this would be a really good time for each of us that wants to, including the chief. And I haven't prepared anybody on this, so hopefully you're not going to freak out on me. But basically, just give a little message. You were elected, we were all elected to serve our community. Maybe just a little message out to the community. I've done a live feed last week, and I plan on doing one again this weekend. Just kind of to talk to everybody and let them know what's going on from the city standpoint. There's just so much misinformation out there. It's really, really difficult to weed through it. And I understand the fear and the uncertainty, but the city has things pretty under control. And I appreciate Ron's work. An engineer that got thrown into being the city manager for us. It's not easy. And he's just done a fantastic job. And I really appreciate that. Go ahead, Karen, would you like to say something?
Oh, sure. I'm up first. I guess today, actually, it came on, it kind of brought itself to the forefront when I realized just how much IT had to step up to the plate on very short notice and get everything, not only for us as
That was just a little background music for your serenade.
okay.
That was
Sorry.
Well,
well
not
timed.
only for us as council, but for all the employees, I just feel like it's one of those things that you're doing construction, like on the inside of a house, like in the structure, and you don't get to see all the, the pretty things. And to me, that's kind of IT. They're behind the backgrounds doing all this work. I also actually really appreciate all the information that you're pushing out, Paul. I feel as a community, we're doing so much for our community. The Meals on Wheels is still operating. You got the police department, and I think the fire department that is going out and giving our community, meds that they can't get out. And I just think it's really great to see our communities all kind of pulling together and doing what we can do to help each other out.
Very good. I'm just going to go down the list here. I got Chief Stevenson down on the next box.
Mayor,
Yes.
this is Brent. Can I interject? Councilor
Absolutely.
Bob Furlow had some technical difficulties connecting in. We
Okay.
have patched him in. We've called him and then double patched the line in. And so, Councilor Furlow, can you hear us?
I can.
Excellent. Welcome. And I will turn the meeting back over to you, Mayor. I apologize for interrupting.
Thank you, and welcome, Councilor Furlow.
Thank you. Sorry to be late. I've been working on this for 45 minutes.
No problem. It's not easy for everybody. I understand. Chief, would you like to give a little message to the community? You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hey, I did it right. Hey, now I'm just gonna probably echo a lot what Karen said. Ron's doing a fantastic job, you guys. The amount of work that he's doing and keeping us all informed and everything, and always constant communication over here. And not to mention Brent and the IT folks doing what they're doing, getting everyone going on the IT side of it. And as far as the community goes, holy cow, they really they're doing a great job in being in their own houses and not being out and about, and really being supportive of the police side of things. As far as we go, we're doing good. No one's sick. Got full shifts going. The guys are out and about, contacting or trying to contact as many people as they can. Obviously being safe while they're doing that. They're still out there taking calls, still out there fighting crime, checking businesses. Hopefully some of the businesses have seen the Night Eyes card that we're throwing down on the businesses. All in all, everyone's doing good. And my message for everyone is stay home, stay safe, be healthy, and continue to call us with your concerns. It just looks a little different. We're taking a lot of calls over the phone, but we're still out and about doing what we do. Catching bad guys. So
All right, thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Counselor Grizzle, would you like to give a little message?
I would love to. I would echo some of that. I would say on behalf of the chamber, the ambassadors are going to begin a kind of an army of calling out and checking in with people to make sure that everybody's aware of the resources. We've also been pushing out to say, you know, here's the federal help, here's how these programs work, here's where you can read about all of that. So I feel really good about Lebanon's position in all of this. I really feel optimistic that if any community in Oregon can bounce back from this, it's going to be our little town. We're pretty awesome. And thank you to Ron and to those of you at the city, the police department, and yes, even the fire department, Jason. I think everybody's doing a really good job here. So I'm proud to be in Lebanon.
Very good. And Counselor Wayne, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I just like to echo what has already been said, and I'm just so proud of our city staff and how they've stepped up. But I would really like to thank our citizens as I move around to shop for our needs here at our home. I see them obeying the distancing, and they're wearing masks, and everybody is conscious of the next person. If somebody heads down an aisle, why they wait till they're 6 feet or more ahead of them. And it's just neat to see that. But the sad thing is, when you drive down Main Street, we're kind of a ghost town.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Wayne.
That's all I have.
Okay. And Counselor Steinhebel?
I'd also like to echo all of the compliments on the city staff that have kept everything moving, especially IT. Talk about the best time to have these iPads rolled out. This is well timed. I know we didn't see in the future for that, but really couldn't ask for a better time for this to happen in terms of the iPads. I think what I've seen, at least, and what I'd like to put out there is just the resiliency of this town. We just a testament to our resiliency as rural Oregonians. People are actually listening. People, you know, Wayne's right. People are in stores. They're actually keeping distance. I'm also just incredibly impressed with the level of support I've seen for our healthcare workers, our emergency responders. Yes, Jason, that's partially you and your crew there too, and of course the PD. But it's just been phenomenal, from people making masks to donating PPE to the VA home to everywhere. It's you know, this situation, it sucks, but I'm glad that I'm going through it in a community like Lebanon. So I look forward to seeing everybody again in person, but whenever that may be. So.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks.
Counselor Jason Boland and Fire District Chief.
I just would echo everything too. IT has been very helpful for us here at the Fire District as well. Obviously, we use them, and they've done a lot of good work for us. So Brent and Casey and Nico and all those guys have just done an awesome job. It's just been a trying time for us. That word unprecedented is out there, and it's unprecedented for everybody, not just our citizens, but our responders and our city staff. And so I'm also very grateful that everyone is following the directions of the state and of the nation and trying to knock this thing down. And we're prepared here at the Fire District for, you know, the surge that is expected to come, and we're hoping that it's quick, and we're hoping it plateaus, and then we're moving forward. But it's just it's an interesting time for sure. And I agree with Councilor Grizzle. Lebanon will do really well with this. It's just in our nature. We bounce back from things pretty quickly. We adapt really well, and when things don't go our way, we don't put up a fight. We just kind of roll with it and move on to the next challenge. So that's going to help us, and I appreciate all of our citizens doing what they're doing and trying to stay safe and keep their families safe. I feel really I really empathize with the parents at home with the kids because I know my wife's at home with the kids, and I get to come to work for 50 or 60 hours a week, but she gets to stay home with the kids. And I sure look forward to Mondays now. I'll tell you what. It's great. So anyway, thank you, parents, and thank you, families, for doing the right thing. We will get through this, and just know that your city is on top of this.
Thank you, Jason. And Robert Furlow, are you there? Would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you. I didn't hear all your earlier comments, but I sure echo the things that I have heard tonight. And I think we also owe a big debt to the citizens that are out there working in some pretty hazardous environments, not just the first responders, people that are working in the stores that are still open, in the businesses that are critical to us, gas stations and grocery stores and all of those things. Without that, this community would come to a screeching halt an awful lot sooner. So we need to thank our great citizens.
Very good, thanks. Was there any counselor that I missed? I think I got everybody. Okay, just last wrap up with this. I just appreciate all the counselors that have been involved with this. Again, appreciate what Ron's been doing, and I've been getting so much feedback from the community on, whoops, hold on. I just lost myself. There we go. Don't be pushing buttons on the iPad while you're talking. That's not a good thing. Anyways, I just appreciate, like all of you, the community and how resilient we are, how we're going to get through this together. We are Lebanon. We went through the timber downturn. This town looked like it was going to die, and it didn't, and it never will. We're strong. We're #Lebanon strong, and we will get through this together. Just appreciate so much your department, Frank, Jason, your department, and the stuff that you guys are risking daily. And again, like everyone else said, the folks that are at the grocery stores, that are at the takeout food, we just appreciate it all. I just hope that everybody stays safe, stay home, and we just appreciate your cooperation right now. And it has been a real nice thing to see people really listening to this and taking heed. So I'll go ahead and end it there. And lastly, we have public press comments. And at this point, the only person we have left is the press. So does Sean have anything to say at this point? Can you unmute, Sean?
Yes, and I am unmuting Sean now.
Okay.
Sean, if you wish to unmute, you should have a prompt on your screen to do so. And we'll give you here about 5 seconds or so to unmute if you choose to.
This is Councilor Furlow. When you get through with the meeting, Brent, could you call me?
I would be happy to call you. Okay, so Mayor,
yes.
Sean just texted me. He said I'm good. He doesn't have his mic working correctly, and so he's going to follow up individually if he has further questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. He can call me directly or Ron, either way, if he needs any updates or anything.
You bet.
Okay. Seeing that, the next scheduled meeting will be April 14th. 12 o'clock. It'll be another electronic meeting. So this was a good dry run. And that will be an executive session. And we will meet, and the press has our information. The public won't be invited since it is a executive session, but the media will be able to call in. And if you are media and you want to get in on that meeting, contact Kim, the city clerk, and she will get you directions on logging into the meeting so you can speak, or so you can listen, I should say.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
May I add one thing as well?
Absolutely.
The next meeting that you've referred to, we're going to be using GoToMeeting. And so I know there's been some setup issues, like for instance, Councilor Furlow and Councilor Reeskamp. What we need to do is do preparatory work like we did with Zoom before the next executive meeting. And so per the email that I had sent out today, we will follow up with each of you so that it's a smooth transition when we're coming into that executive session.
Great. Thank you, Brett. Anything else from council? All right. With that, we're going to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.